The squat. A squat requires strength and stability through the lower body, but it also requires a good degree of strength and stability through the core. In this section, we're going to look at how to perform a squat, how to make it easier and how to make it more challenging, but the carryover needs to be functional. So the key here is to make sure that we're applying some of the core stability and activation exercises that we've learned in phase 1 and phase 2, and then starting to apply this to everyday life using that squat position. I mentioned before that one of the categories of people that can squat in most cases are toddlers. So you have been a toddler at some point, which means that we're essentially relearning this movement now. Although as we age, as we get into our late teens, early 20s, the three bones that make up the pelvis fuse, which can change the morphology of the hip socket. And it can mean that a squat and a full deep squat is not necessarily achievable by everyone and by no means beneficial for everyone. That being said, the majority of East Asian cultures retain that squat position through life because of the lifestyle demands imposed on them. And it's for this reason that I am a firm believer that most people can achieve a relatively deep squat. Let's have a look at how a squat's done. So we're going to begin with feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly pointing outwards, about 5-1, not quite 10-2. We want to keep the knees in line with the toes and the hips, so we don't have knees caving in and we don't have them going out either. Try and retain the natural arch of your foot. Don't allow the foot to flatten out or a high arch. And the most important thing is we need to keep that neutral spine and generate that core stability and intra-abdominal pressure that we focused on through phases 1 and 2. So a bodyweight squat, we're going to pop the arms up on the opposite shoulder. We're going to break evenly at the knees and hips, lowering ourselves down to the floor. Aim to get the thighs parallel to the floor, and then when we're there, we need to squeeze the glutes and thighs hard to enable us into extension and back to the upright position. When we get there, we're not going to fully extend and take the load off the muscles. We're going to keep that semi-squat position and then squat back down with piston-like repetitions. A full range of motion squat performed in this way is the ideal and the goal for the end of phase 3. But for now, this may not be necessarily achievable for most, particularly if you've had back pain. So what we can look at are some regressions to make this more achievable, building stability, strength, and ability, leading towards performing a full range of motion squat.